So tell us the saint that you picked and what they're the patron saint of.
I picked the Saint Dymphna. She is the patron of mental illness and anxiety, depression, stuff like that.
Tell us something about her life.
When she died, she was 15. She was killed by her father.
Okay. And why did she become a saint?
She lived a pure life because she was always kept by her father, I should say. She didn't really commit any sin.
Okay, great. And why did you choose her?
I personally have struggled through depression, and I really felt like I connected to her personally.
Great, thank you. All right, so tell us the saint that you chose and what she's the patron saint of.
The saint that I chose was St. Catherine of Siena. She's the patron saint of nurses, miscarriages, and fire prevention.
And what about her life? Tell us something about her life.
At a young age, she knew she wanted to devote her life to God. Ever since she was little, she would pray, and she became a nun.
And why did she become a saint?
Because she thought that God was like.
That's okay. Why did she become a saint?
Because she wanted to devote her life to God and wanted to be.
That's good. Why did you choose her as your saint?
I chose her because she, at a young age, always wanted to help people, like the poor and the sick, and that's something that I would like to do as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so tell us the saint that you are and what you're the patron saint of.
Okay, I am St. Paul, and the patron that I'm a part of are missionaries, evangelists, and public workers.
Okay, and tell us something about the life of St. Paul.
St. Paul devoted his entire life into spreading God's presence to everybody he encountered.
Okay, and why was St. Paul made a saint?
He was made a saint because he believed that God had a presence in heaven, and he always stood with that knowledge within himself every single day of his life.
Great, and why did you choose St. Paul?
I chose St. Paul because he's really hardworking. I read that he was a tent maker, and he would always set up shop, and he would always work for the better things in life.
Perfect, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us the saints and what they are the patron of.
I chose St. Michael the Archangel, and he is the patron saint of mariners, paratroopers, police officers, and military personnel.
Okay, and tell us something about his life.
Well, he serves as an archangel of God, and so he did not become a saint as a typical saint is nominated. Angels can be called a saint as a sign of respect and honor.
And why did you choose St. Michael the Archangel?
I chose St. Michael because my dad is a police officer, and so the saint holds a special place in my heart.
Perfect, thank you. All right, Shay, tell us which saint you chose.
I chose St. Augustine.
And what is St. Augustine the patron saint of?
He's the patron of printer, brewery, I can't say that, and theology.
And tell us something about his life.
In his youth, he was a very troubled person. He did a lot of bad things, he sinned a lot, and he liked it. But over time, he became and realized that was wrong and chose God over sins.
Perfect. And what did he do that got him to become a saint?
He did a lot of work in theology and philosophy for God, knowing his nature and how he works, and especially with confession, because he did not paint himself as a holy man. He painted himself as a sinner of what he did in the past for 33 years.
Okay, and why did you pick St. Augustine?
I thought his story was very interesting, how he turned his life around after so many years of sins. It truly shows that no matter how much bad you've done, you can always turn around and choose God.
Perfect. Anything else you want to tell us about him?
I think that's it.
All right, so tell us who you chose.
I chose St. Elizabeth of Hungary.
Okay, and what is she the patron saint of?
Kindness and nurture.
And tell us something about her life.
She became a widow at the young age of 24 and thereafter donated her entire dowry to serve the poor. Always carried her love for the poor. Elizabeth grew up performing various acts of mercy on behalf of the suffering, sick, and homeless.
And why did she become a saint? What did she do?
Her kindness.
Her kindness. And why did you choose her as your saint?
One, because our names are somewhat close, and I just really like her story.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right, so tell us which saint you chose.
Hi, I'm Saint Joseph. The reason why I chose this saint is because I love the way he looks, I love the way he cares, and
What is he the patron saint of?
the patron saint of kindness, joy, and love.
Tell us something about his life.
His life that once Jesus married Mary, he became the father of Jesus.
Once Joseph married Mary.
Yeah.
And Joseph is the patron saint of carpenters
Yes.
as well. Perfect. Thank you. Do what?
Okay. I chose St. Catherine of Bologna
Why?
because she's the patron saint of art and liberal arts.
And you like to do art? Perfect. Tell us a little bit about her life.
At 13, she became a nun, and she made 2 churches for the poor Clares, and when she died, her body was incorrupt, which means her body did not decay.
Perfect. And why is she a saint?
After her death, people visited her grave and found cures, and 18 days after she was buried, there was a sweet scent coming from her grave, so they dug her up and placed her on a chair behind the glass.
Right. Perfect. Great. Okay, tell us the saint that you chose.
I chose Saint John Vianney.
And what is St. John Vianney the patron saint of?
Parish priest.
And tell us something about his life.
Him and his family had to secretly go to mass that was organized by priests who had to do it secretly because they did not, during the French Revolution, they did not allow Catholics to group together.
Okay, and why did you choose St. John Vianney?
I like how he was so dedicated to God. He spent long hours stirring in the confessionary.
And why did he become a saint?
Because of how much he admired God and how much time he spent with him.
Perfect, thank you. All right, which saint did you choose?
I chose St. Clare of Assisi.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of media and television.
Tell us something about her life.
She always helped the needy and the poor, and she founded the Order of Poor Ladies, which were women who followed St. Clare and became nuns with her.
Okay, and what made her become a saint?
She became a saint because she always felt inspired by St. Francis of Assisi, and so she dropped all her possessions and followed him.
Great, and why did you pick her?
I picked her because I felt really connected to her because she always was giving back and helping the poor people.
Perfect, see? Easy peasy. Okay, tell us who you picked.
I chose St. Francis of Assisi.
And what is he the patron saint of?
He's the patron saint of animals and nature.
Okay, tell us something about his life.
He was born in the richest family in Assisi, and his father was a merchant, so he grew up in a pretty party-ish lifestyle.
And why did he become a saint?
So he decided to become a soldier and fight in a battle. And once they figured out that he had money, the enemy team kind of captured him and held him for ransom in prison. So during his time there, he was reflecting and he saw visions of God. And even when he came back after that, he kept seeing visions of God, and his calling was to rebuild broken churches.
Okay, great. And why did you choose him?
Just for the fact that he kind of started with his life not in order. He started away from God and life of sin. And he kind of self-reflected and he found God.
Perfect. Thank you. Wonderful. All right. Tell us who you chose.
I'm St. Cecilia.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of musicians and music.
Tell us something about her life.
She was born a noblewoman, and she married a pagan nobleman, but she converted him to Christianity, and when they got married, she kept her virginity and decided that she would help people and Christians with their burial because it was illegal to bury Christians.
Okay, great. And why was she a saint?
She was a saint because on her wedding day she heard the voice of God when she was singing, and her singing inspired other people to convert.
And why did you choose her?
I chose her because Cecilia is my middle name, and because I love music and I always feel closer to God when I sing, especially during adoration.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, Paula, tell us which saint you chose.
I chose Saint Bologna.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of infants and babies.
Okay, tell us something about her life.
Something that I found very interesting about her was that she was very young when she decided to stay a virgin. And when her father was trying to make peace with the emperor, they traveled to go see him, and the emperor fell in love with her, but she didn't want to get married. So they ended up drowning her with an anchor, and every time she was attacked, the angels saved her, and then the emperor shot her with arrows, and the angels still saved her. But in the end, the emperor decapitated her, but she died on Friday at 3, like Jesus did. And
Very
that's
cool.
what I found interesting.
And why is she a saint?
Well, from the research that I did, I couldn't really find much because there wasn't much known about her, but she just always wanted to follow God and stay a virgin.
Yeah, she was faithful, right? Her faithfulness, and obviously all the things that the angels did to save her were signs that she was someone holy, right? And why did you pick her?
I picked her because first I found her story very interesting and sad, and I always had a connection with babies, I guess, because every time I would be with babies, they would always smile at me or try to they always laugh with me, and that's what I chose her.
Perfect, thank you. Okay, who did you choose?
St. Barbara,
Saint Barbara, and what is she the patron saint of?
minors and stuff like that.
She's the patron saint of what?
Minors and things like that.
Okay, and tell us something about her life.
That she was, they forced her to lock her up in a tower, and while doing that, she tried to help people.
Okay, and why did she become a saint?
I think just to help people out, doing stuff things that she wanted them to do, their dreams and to come true and stuff like that.
Perfect. And why did you choose her?
I chose her because I liked her story.
Great, thank you. See? All right. patron saint of?
He's the patron saint of like orphans or juvenile delinquents, publishers, editors, you know.
Lots of stuff. Tell us something about his life.
Well, he's a great guy, I think. But he loves doing stuff for others, especially like younger youth. You know, he likes just helping out, bringing them out of tough places, and leading them towards God.
Perfect. And why did he become a saint?
I think he just became saint because he likes helping others when they're in need.
Okay, and why did you choose him?
I chose him because I feel like I relate to him in many ways, as in he loves bringing love to others and making them feel loved through like humor and laughter, and I believe I do the same thing. I like making people laugh, and I like making people smile, and
Perfect, thank you. All right, tell us about the saint that you chose.
I chose Saint Monticello, or also known as Melango.
Perfect, and what is the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of hares and small animals in natural environment.
And tell us something about her life.
Her parents arranged marriage for her, and she didn't want that. She wanted a life full of prayer.
And what did she do that made her become a saint?
I think it's mainly because she built a monastery, and the land around the monastery is mainly for like animals who feel threatened and lonely.
And why did you choose her?
I chose her because I have like this strong connection with animals. I feel that animals need like protection, and I have that connection with animals. Like I feel like they're my friends.
Perfect, thank you. All right, tell us the saint that you picked.
The saint I chose was St. Romero,
And what is he the patron saint of?
the Americas.
Okay, and tell us something about his life.
He started his journey with Christ at a young age, at 14 years old. He didn't come from a rich background. He suffered with poverty.
And why did he become a saint?
He became a saint because he spoke about many things that were going on at that time and that are still going on. For example, poverty, injustice, and violence.
Okay, and why did you choose Oscar Romero?
I chose him because he is from the country that my parents are from, and I love how passionate he was about how committed he was to Christ, and how passionate he was about the struggles that he was going through at that time.
And what country is that he's from?
St.Oliver.
Perfect. Okay, so tell us which saints you chose.
I picked Saint Margaret the Virgin.
And what is she the patron saint of?
Exiles, pregnancies, childbirth, kidney disease, and peasants.
Okay, and then tell us something about her life.
That she was swallowed by Satan and escaped by using the cross.
Oh, cool. So why did she become a saint?
She became saint because some high Roman official proposed to her, and she said no because she wouldn't give up believing in Christianity.
Perfect. And why did you choose her as your saint?
I chose her just because I want to go into OBGYN field and do pregnancies for women, and because her saint day is July 20th, and that's my birthday.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Thank you. All right. Tell us the saint that you picked.
I picked Pope St. Gregory the Great.
Okay, and what is he the patron saint of?
Musicians, singers, and teachers.
Tell us something about his life.
I got nervous. I forgot. All I know is that he would sing the gospel. And he would participate like in church and sing some of that stuff.
Okay, and why did he become a saint?
I'll try to look for it. I couldn't really find that, but
How did he live his life that was holy or saint-like? Or showing his love of God?
it said he would like also sing. He would do a lot of singing around the church and all that.
And why did you choose him?
Because I wanna be a musician, and I'm starting that, and I've been doing it for a while, so I wanna get into that, and so that's why I picked the saint.
Perfect. Who did you pick?
I picked St. Francis.
And what is he the patron saint of?
He's a patron saint of animals and ecology.
And tell us something about his life.
In his youth, he lived a really nice, wealthy lifestyle. Then he got a calling from God to live in poverty and to basically carry out what Jesus did.
Okay.
Try to reform the church.
And why did he become a saint?
It said that for his miracle, he was on a hilltop praying, and then he got a vision from Christ, and he got it was a stigma.
Oh, the stigmata?
A stigmata, yeah, of the wounds of Christ on him, and then it was the first of such holy marks on someone.
And why did you choose him?
I really like animals, so that's why I picked him.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, who did you pick?
I picked Saint Therese of Lisieux.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of missionaries, florists, and priests.
And tell us something about her life.
At the age of 4, she lost her mom. Both of her parents are saints, though. At the age of 15, she joined the Carmelite nuns group, and she lived a very close faith with God.
Okay, and what did she do to become a saint?
She had very strong childlike faith in God. Throughout all of her struggles with OCD, depression, tuberculosis, and losing her mom at a young age, she was able to hold her faith through all of it, and she had a very strong servant's heart.
Perfect, and why did you choose her?
I picked her because I want to be a missionary when I'm older, and also because she was very relatable. She wasn't a perfect kid. She was known for falling asleep during rosaries also, and I think I related to her on that because she wasn't perfect, and it showed that anyone can be a saint. You don't have to be a perfect person.
Perfect, thank you so much. All right, who is your saint?
Saint Lucy
And what is she the patron saint of?
of the blind.
And tell us something about her life.
When she was young, she started helping the poor because she wasn't one of the rich, so she wanted to give back to the poor. And she also helped the people that were hiding, the Catholic that were hiding from the people that were killing them. She brought them food and drinks.
Okay, and why did she become a saint?
She became a saint because the church that she used to go to, they found out that she was helping the poor and the Christians, so they picked her to be a saint.
And why did you choose her?
I chose her because when I was 13, I went to the doctor and they said if I didn't start wearing prescriptive glasses, I would go blind.
That's very cool. What a fun connection. Okay, thank you. What is your saint? Who is your saint?
My saint is Saint Monica.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of wives and abuse victims.
And tell us something about her life.
So, Saint Monica was a wife and mother to 3 children, one of them being Saint Augustine. And Augustine actually wasn't always a great guy. He actually was part of a different religion that was actually very dangerous and threatening. And Saint Monica, being the good mother she is, was very concerned, and she prayed for her son every night. And the priest told her, oh, it's a hopeless cause, he's not going to get better. And she believed, no, it's going to get better. And she persevered, and she stayed hopeful. She kept praying for 17 years, and it paid off because her son became a really good guy, and he became a saint. So.
And why did she become a saint?
She became a saint because through all her hard hardships, she just kept praying and stayed faithful, and through her prayers she could see the holiness and God's work.
And why did you choose her?
I chose her because perseverance is like a really good characteristic that I value, and that's a really big thing about her, so that's why I chose her.
Perfect. All right, who did you choose?
I chose St. Patrick,
And what is he the patron saint of?
the patron saint of engineering and the patron saint of Ireland.
Tell us something about his life.
Well, he was born in Britain and he was captured by people from Ireland, and he was a slave for 6 years. And then he was told by God to leave Ireland, and he studied in France and Britain.
Okay, and why did you choose him as your saint?
I chose him because I want to be an engineer myself, and St. Patrick's Day is my mom's birthday also.
Oh, fun. All right. Okay, who is your saint?
St. Rosa of Lima,
And what is she the patron saint of?
Peru.
And tell us something about her life.
She said that she always wanted to be a nun ever since she was young, and people viewed her as very attractive, but she wanted to stay focused on God, so she blistered her face, covered her hair to keep away male interest and to focus on God.
And why did she become a saint?
She always felt like she was called to be a saint since she was little.
And why did you choose her?
I think her will and the pain that she endured, the pain that she endured, I think it's very inspirational.
Perfect. Okay, who is your saint?
My saint is Saint Martin de Porres.
And what is he the patron saint of?
He is the patron saint of interracial harmony.
And tell us something about his life.
Something about his life is he lived in Peru, and he also made an orphanage for kids to help care for them.
And why did he become a saint?
He became a saint because he did some of the teachings of the gospel by helping and feeding the homeless.
And why did you choose him as your saint?
I chose him as a saint because he helped kids in hospitals. In my career job, like dream job, I want to be a pediatric nurse.
Perfect. Thank you. See? Thank you. Who did you pick?
My saint is Saint Torino.
And what is he the patron saint of?
Immigrants.
And tell us something about his life.
He grew up through a harsh time because there was a war going on in Mexico, and they couldn't believe in God, and he stood up and was still giving the teachings about God.
And why did he become a saint?
Because he gave up his life for the cross.
And why did you choose him?
I found it interesting that he risked his life for God.
Perfect. All right, who is your saint?
My saint is St. Catherine of Alexandria.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of scholars and philosophers.
And tell us something about her life.
She was able to argue her faith against tons and tons of men who have studied philosophy for years and was able to make them all convert to Catholicism.
And why did she become a saint?
She became a saint because when she was sentenced to death, she was able to, she touched the wheel and the wheel was destroyed.
And why did you choose her?
I chose her because she is considered one of the first feminists, and she was able to argue for what she believes in.
All right, who did you pick?
Saint Sebastian.
And what is he the patron saint of?
Athletes.
And tell us something about his life.
He was shot to death with arrows and then somehow nursed back to health by a widow.
And why did he become a saint?
What I think is that he was, when he came back to life, he went to see the king, and so he was back, and the king sentenced him to be beaten. So they beat him and threw him in the sewer, and some lady found him, and he said, just let me keep going.
And why did you choose him as your saint?
Well, I'm an athlete, and it seems like he shows no fear, and I want to be able to show no fear.
Nice. Perfect. Good job. Kane, tell us which saint you are.
I
chose Saint Christopher.
And what is St. Christopher the saint of?
I don't remember that one.
Tell us something about his life.
He looked for the strongest and tried to work for them. And if he found out that they were scared of something, he would work for what they were scared of.
Okay, and why do you think he became a saint?
Because he helped people cross a river when they were weak, and he built a little house next to it. And one night when it was storming, he heard his name from like a little boy 3 times, and then he helped it cross the river, and it was like heavy, like carrying the world, and then he got baptized by it, by Jesus or God.
Oh, perfect. And why did you choose him?
Because he caught my attention, how he helped people cross the river, and like I can put him in my car.
Yeah, because you like cars, right? All right, good job. Which saints did you choose?
The saint that I chose, his name is Cyprian Michael Iwenatanzi.
And what is he the patron saint of?
He is the patron saint of Nigeria.
And tell us something about his life.
Something really interesting about his life is that although he lives in an area that wasn't very keen on women's rights, he made it a point of action to stand up for the women that were being abused in his community. And also he was blinded in one eye when he was a child.
Why did he become a saint?
I think the main reason that it's not really an objective answer. I think the main reason he became a saint was support from his father. He went to a Catholic school at a young age and was imbibed already in Catholicism. And I think he just wanted to make his community a better place, considering all the innovations that he led for his community through his work as a priest.
Great. And why did you choose him as your saint?
I chose him mainly because I'm Nigerian, and also because he is from my tribe in Nigeria as well, the Igbo tribe. And another thing that I recently stated before, he stood up for women's rights in a time where that wasn't really that popular. So
that's awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Round of applause. All right, which saint are you?
I am Saint Veronica.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of laundry workers and photographers.
And tell us something about her life.
No one really knows when she was born, when she died, what she did before she became a saint, after. She was kind of just there and then left.
And why did she become a saint? What did she do?
When Jesus was on his way to be crucified at the 6th station of the cross, she was the one that took off her veil and gave him her veil to wipe his face from all the blood and sweat, and he really appreciated that.
And why did you choose her as your saint?
I chose her because of all her kindness and everything she did for him and just how strict she was about it.
Perfect. I love what you did with the veil stuff. Great. Which saint did you choose?
I chose Saint Mary Magdalene.
And what is she the patron saint of?
She's the patron saint of women.
Tell us something about her life.
She was present at the death and resurrection of Jesus.
And why do you think she became a saint?
She was one of the first people to find Jesus' empty tomb.
And why did you choose her as your saint?
She was actually a prostitute before she became a follower of Jesus, and so it sort of shows an example of his forgiveness and mercy.
Perfect. Good job. All right, who is your saint, Michael?
My saint is Jacques Berthier.
And what is he the patron saint of?
He does not belong to any patronage actually, but he is known for his acts of martyrship during his life.
Okay, tell us something about his life.
During one of his last missions, he was in Madagascar, attacked him. During that time, the chief of the tribe told him to give up his religion, saying, give up your hateful religion, and if you do, we will make you a counselor and give you residence. However, he spread his arms up in the cross and he accepted death. He accepted death because he did not want to consent to die.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So why do you think he became a saint?
I believe he became a saint because of his many acts of virtue during his life. He grew up during the French Empire and with his many large things to it, but yeah.
Okay, and why did you choose him?
I chose him because his many acts of virtue really inspired me to do better in life and just have more courage overall.
Perfect. Thank you so much.